I'm sorry. Yeah, we can.
No problem, sir.
Chairman, sir, shall we start the meeting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Thank you. Good evening, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. Very good evening. On behalf of the Vijayawada branch of Management Committee of the Vijayawada branch of SARC of ICA, I welcome you all for this today's seminar, the past president conclave, and also emerging the COVID situation. The Kamlesh sir is going to highlight about the post-COVID situations. And I welcome you, our chief guest, Dungachan Jain sir, our ex officio, our mentor and guide to our branch, CA Chinnamastan sir, and also towering personality and very acclaimed person, Kamlesh Vikamshi sir, who is the past president of our institute. Welcome sir, welcome to the today's meeting. And so friends, as I always said that experience always counts. The person who is in the helm of the affairs, when he is talking to the persons who are just started their practice, their goal and everything are very, very can be defined in a very, very easy manners. So some way this problem that Corona is creating some nuisance in the regular things, but due to technology, we are very, very fortunate to have the resource persons like Kamlesh sir and other past presidents of our institute. We are really glad, sir. Thanks for the accepting our invitation and coming over here and detailing about the things to our members. So without wasting much of my time, I request our ex officio member and mentor of our branch, Chinnamastan sir, to give his opening remarks. Over to Chinnamastan sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good evening, members. I think my voice is clear.
Yeah, good, sir. Very good.
Right. Chairman of SARC, Dungachan Jain from Madurai, and past president of ICI, and today's session speaker, Sri Kamlesh Shivaji sir, and chairman of Vijayawada branch, Srinivas Garu, secretary Srita Sherin, vice chairman Pon Sendarao, treasurer Narendra Babu, Chika chairman and active person for all these programs, Ravkeshwar Garu, and first chairperson Nagavali Garu, MC member Madam Sunita Garu, and first chairmen, my dear members, good evening and welcome to you all for this wonderful theme on series of knowledge messages from our proud past presidents of ICA. Dear members, I request to all the members, don't come to outside unless seriously it's required. We saw that so many firms in Hyderabad. We saw the so many issues in Hyderabad. For your information, one of the member has passed away last 5 days back from Hyderabad. So this is the severely is going on. So the client service always is required, but my suggestion is use the technology as maximum as possible instead of meeting and inviting to the office. Dear members, today is one of the exciting day for me as well as the chairman of SARC, because today we are sharing the virtual dais with one of the stalwarts of ICA who have shared the apex position of our institute in the past, that too at a time when we are pursuing my CA final course, and the chairman, I think chairman of SARC also. This is the indeed timely session and shall be very much helpful for every member in the 21st century, because our profession might have seen many ups and downs in the since beginning, and the people who are going to speak in the coming session, including the today's session, are those who are in the witness of many happenings in the professions in the past. At this junction, some guidance by our seniors would benefit our young members and chartered accountants who are in the practice as well as the industry. Dear members, still I request all the members who not having any health insurance as of till now also, please visit that ICAnewindia.co.in, Simply we can log in with your membership detail. Please enter your all family members' details and upload the Aadhaar card. We will get the health insurance with immediate coverage. The site is ica.newindia.co.in. It is covers to the all the family members and including parents. And the institute also is giving the good help to initiate to get the claims, because if you take that other insurance, there is a at the time of claimings, but this is the tie-up the ICA and New India. It's definitely useful. From the day onwards, it is covering, and the from the it gives that more than 45-50% is the discount is compared to the market prices. This is the I request all the members, you should avail this benefit. This is the right time. Every member should have this facility. Members, you are seeing them. So in WhatsApp groups, there is a professional loans from the institute to tie up with some other organization. I think it is not yet finalized as of now. It is still yet to be come with the full guidelines. Most of the members in the district areas, we are getting the call, but it's not at implemented stage. We should wait a few more days, then only we get the more clarity on this. With this, I once again thank Sri Vikamse Kamchar for accepting the invitation on behalf of Vijayawada branch of ICA, and also congratulates my Vijayawada branch for conducting this kind of sessions. I wish every member to enrich today's session as well as from the sessions to come the next 4 or 5 days. Thank you, one and all. Thank you so much for giving this one wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chinmastan Garu, for the enlightening about the various facilities that are given by the institute to the all SMPs and other members of the institute. Now, it is always pleasure to hear to the chairman of the SARC. So I request Shrita Shireen ma'am, the secretary of the branch, to kindly introduce the chairman of SARC of ICAI, Dungarchand Jain, sir. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I am privileged to introduce our today's chief guest, SARC chairman, CA Durganchand Jain. He's a commerce graduate and chartered accountant in practice at Madurai. Has passed a higher diploma in software engineering. He did his articleship training with a leading firm in Chennai. He is a fellow member of Institute of ICA and has passed DISA in 2005. He has been in practice since 2005 and is currently a managing partner of CA firm, having offices in Madurai and Cochin. And he served Madurai branch of SARC of ICA in various posts. And regarding Regional Council of SARC of ICA, he has been elected Regional Council of SARC of ICA for the term 2016 and 19, re-elected in 2019 and 22. He has been served as Secretary of SARC during the year 17-18 and Vice Chairman in the year 1920, and currently serving as Chairman of SARC for the period 2020-21. He is ex officio of Madurai, Sivakasi and Pondicherry branches of SARC of ICA. He is a member of Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, Mumbai, and All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, Mumbai. And he has given guest lectures and presented papers at various institutions and professional forums. Had been teaching faculty at Madurai College and Fatima College and Madurai. Fatma College, Madurai, and covering chapters on stock markets and derivatives. Has presented papers on information technology, reference to DSC, e-filing, and using of Excel in various forums and CPE meetings. Being tech savvy, he has been instrumental in preparing few in-house softwares. Has also prepared a template on T and VAT audit in Excel, benefiting chartered accountants. He is a regular contributor to monthly newsletter of Chartered Accountants Study Circle Bulletin on Excel tips and few SAI branch newsletters. He is active participant of Jan Seva, an organization helping those in need. He authored books on Excel tips covering uses of MS Excel for professionals. With this brief intro, I request our chairman sir to give his valuable message to our members.
Thank you, Shrita ji. I start with saying that mind and umbrella is useful only when it is open. And before I start my address, I request, as C. Chinnamastan told, to stay safe and take good care of yourself, good care of your immunity during these tough times. As he said, not go out and adventure unless it is really required or there is an emergency. In fact, it is become risky even to go to hospitals now. They say avoid to the possible extent if it is not required and only there is a dire need you go. So beloved past president of ICI, CA Kamlesh Vikamseji, my colleague in the regional council, CA Chinnamastan, Vijayawada branch, CA Srinivas Raoji, Secretary Shritaji, they have a nice introduction of me, all other managing committee members of Vijayawada branch and all the members. Good evening to all of you. At the outset, let me congratulate the chairman of Vijayawada branch and his team for conceiving a nice program and inviting all the past presidents from our profession to share their expertise and wisdom of knowledge on topics that are significantly important in our professional front. I also express my sincere thanks and gratitude to all our beloved past presidents, participating resource persons. I'm therefore delighted to be part of this program and thank the organizers for inviting me for the event. I also compliment the organizers for an apt and attractive reference of program by coining the words game changers, trendsetters, and go-getters in action to update and appraise you of their knowledge bank. The program is also unique aspect as the program is being held in virtual mode, and they were able to bring all the past presidents from different parts of India and to see that all our members are getting benefit. I'm impressed with the topics that are being selected for this conclave. Like today's topic by our most respected former president, CA Kamlesh Vikamseji. Kamlesh Vikamseji, I should refer, is special and will be special forever for me, because for my membership certificate and the COP certificate, it is third signature which is there on that. So it is all special for, and he's going to appropriately address our members on unlocking skills during this COVID-19 post-lockdown. And I'm very sure as we have overcome in the past, we will overcome this difficult time also. And to me, the topic envisages that we should prune our technical skills during this lockdown period and by adding new and contemporary skills in whatever form you are interested in, be it GST, be it public finance, government accounting, all the topics what you could kind of think of. And similarly, the other topics chosen for the conclave, small and medium practitioners, practice management, professional hobbies, historical background about our accounting profession, tax practice in the next decade, CA firm and growth strategies, new code of ethics, modernization of chartered accountants, all by veterans, CA Ramasamy sir, CA Bhupati ji, CA K Raghu sir, Amarjit Chopra ji, and Uttarprash Agarwal ji, all of them who have rose from an humble background, including our today's beloved speaker, and they have reached the pinnacle of the CA profession in India, and their names are synonymous with quality, focus, dedication, and hard work. Our most respected past presidents have, during their presidentship, led from the front to take our profession to greater heights. We will cherish their term for having made their significant contribution to the profession. We are thankful to them for their human services to ICA in particular and profession at large. And as the chairman rightly said, experience counts a lot. Our chairman of Vijayawada branch mentioned that, and sharing those experiences with our members is the kind of greatest thing which our members will be benefited of that. I, from the bottom of my heart, thank each and every past president who have agreed to share their wisdom with all of us. And now it is an unprecedented situation has emerged across the world with the spreading of the corona, but nevertheless, it is not going to stop us in what we are going to do. And we as CAs have decided to take this as an advantage and kind of meet virtually. It is also time that we look at the positives and focus our attention in the post-lockdown period to keep ourselves busy and abreast of happening around. We have in the past few months have learned something new so that we could make best use of our time and not be lagged behind. And that is happening through the virtual programs conducted by branches, regional council, and ICI. And the program that is being originated from the Vijayawada branch of SARC, I feel it appropriate on part of the occasion to make a few references about the Vijayawada branch. Vijayawada branch was formed by a notification on 10th August 1971 by notification dated 21st August 1971. And it is an appropriate to recall the first office bearers of the Vijayawada branch, Shri C.A.K. Subbarao-ji, the chairman, Shri N. Srima Murthy, vice chairman, Brahmaya, secretary, and Surya Narayana Murthy, treasurer. And it is worth noting that The regional conference of SARC was held on 22nd and 23rd of December 1995 at the Auditorium, Vijayawada. And the list of awards which Vijayawada's branches are many, and I don't want to kind of tell what the branch has achieved, which every member of the branch will already know. I also recognize the contribution of CSC Murli Krishna ji from Vijayawada, who was the member of SARC during the year 92-95 and 95-98, and he was chairman in the year 1995. Also was GVV Satyanarayana ji, was member from 2001 to 2013, and their contribution to SARC and profession are worth mentioning at this. And on the profession front, members, I would like to tell that in whatever you do in discharging your duty, kindly take care of the quality, see that your professional skepticism is exercised, and very, very importantly, stay relevant. And in staying relevant is staying updated and using technology to the best possible extent. I'm a technology man. I always tell technology helps to a large extent, but it is always the mix of tradition and technology which helps. Technology can only be an aid. It cannot be a substitute to whatever you do. So kindly take care of that part. I'm only remembered of a nice quote by Y.H. Malegaon ji, who says that we need to constantly keep in mind that the true test of a profession is not only in its numbers or the material benefit or the welfare of its members, but it lies in the value addition that it makes and the respect that we all enjoy in the society. And the respect what we enjoy is because of all the good things which our seniors have did, and let us continue to contribute our bit. And coming to SARC's front, we are also doing a lot of programs on on the virtual mode. We request all members to take benefit of it. And very important event which we all eagerly wait for is the SARC conference, which we are kind of keeping it tab on the coronavirus. We'll review the situation. If God willing, we'll have it at Madurai. If it is not happening, we'll think of the alternative modes also. So I have great pleasure in and privilege in inaugurating the 6-day series. It's very unique and informative program. I wish the program a grand success. I wish all the members attending this program a very great learning session. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman sir. Thank you for the wonderful message that you have given, and you have mentioned the dates and everything of Vijayawada branch installation and all everything. And from this August 19th onwards, we are entering into the golden era, that is the golden jubilee year. We have completed 49th year in the this one by 20th of August, and we are entering into the golden jubilee year. So really, thank you worth mentioning about our branch and about our initial
God willing, I will come and visit 50th year, sir.
Thank you, sir. So nice of you.
God willing, I will visit in 50th year.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I welcome you all for this definitely on now itself. Now it's time to hear from the Kamlesh sir. Sir, I request our branch secretary Shita Shireen ma'am to kindly introduce the towering personality of Kamlesh Vikamshi Shivji sir. Over to Shita Shireen ma'am. Unmute.
I think you have to unmute yourself.
Unmute, sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Glad to introduce our today's speaker, CA Kamlesh, we can say, and he is a chartered accountant since 1982. He is a senior partner in Kimji Kunverji and Company LLP since 1982. It is a LLP registered with Institute of FAA and in practice since 1936, having over 80 years of experience in the area. Yes, auditing, taxation, corporate and personal advisory services and investment consultancy services. And it is a member of HLB International. HLB International is a global network of independent advisory and accounting firms. The power of and is presently chairperson of Audit Advisory Committee of United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, New York, United States of America, with effect from 23rd February 2019. And he is an independent management advisory committee of International Telecommunication Union member. Geneva, Switzerland, with effect from 1st January 2020 and member since 1st January 2016. And he is a member of Audit Committee of World Meteorological Organization, Geneva, Switzerland, with effect from March 2019. And he is a member of National Advisory Board, Manav Sadhan Vikas Samstha. And he is a member of Investment Board, Postal Life Insurance, Government of India, as a financial expert. And he is an independent director of Navneet Education Limited and Apotex Industries Limited, Tribundas Bhimji Jhaveri Construction Limited, and PTC India Financial Services Limited. He is a trustee and treasurer of Global Vipassana Foundation, an internationally renowned trust, which has constructed Global Pagoda in Mumbai. The Global Pagoda is the world's largest stone dome built without any supporting pillars. It is built combining ancient Indian and modern technology to enable it to last for at least 2000 years. He is a trustee of Dhammapathan Vipassana Trust, and he is a trustee of a World Opportunity Foundation. And he contributed and participated in Corporate Governor Leadership Program conducted by Center for International Private Enterprise and Global Corporate Governance Forum. With this brief intro, I request our speaker to present upon the topic. Thank you.
So, dear members, kindly understand the 80 years of standing in auditing and accounting things by our the accounting firm of our resource person and past president of our institute, towering personality. Over to you, sir, for your knowledge. Thank you, sir.
So, thank you very much, all of you. Chairman Vijayawada branch, Mr. Rao, Chairman SIRC, the regional council members, all the managing committee members of Vijayawada branch, and of course, my dear colleagues, seniors in the profession, my dear colleagues. I mean, it's a great honor and privilege to be part of this important conference which the Vijayawada branch is organizing. And what I would do in the next about, say, 45 minutes to an hour is take you through the real life situation which we have faced as a firm. So I want to talk basically experience. And I also want to talk about how we faced this entire situation, how we overcome the entire situation. So that's what I would like to do. And this is based on an article which I have written in the CA Journal of July 2020, as recent as July 2020, which was published by the Institute. So, and Chairman, I think feel free that if anybody wants to, barge in on whenever I'm speaking, they're free to do so. If anybody wants to make a comment or if they want to add something, feel free to, I think we should allow them to, come in and make any comment.
I requested all my members to put each and every question, if it is there, in the chat box, sir, so that we can attend the Q&A session at the end of the things after completion of yours. Thank you.
All
sir.
right. Okay. So with these opening remarks, let me start my presentation. Okay, I hope you're able to see my presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are able to see. Please continue.
Wonderful. So the topic for today, which I had selected, was unlocking skills in COVID situation.
If possible, kindly maximize the screen, sir. There will be some button, slideshow.
No, I've already done so. Can you see the full screen? Or?
It is coming with the...
You need to enable editing on the top and click F5, sir.
Okay, 1 second. Let me try.
Enable editing on the top.
Yes.
Click F5, sir.
Yep. And then the...
No, side scroll is gone, sir.
1 second. I'll share the screen.
Okay, share the screen. Okay.
So these are all the challenges of...
Yes, sir. Not
the new world in which we are living in.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so...
Yes, sir. Now you can click F5, sir.
Yes, I am clicking the slide share. Now, is it...
Yeah.
Superb, sir. Super.
Thank you very much for helping me. These helps are required because all these new technology of virtual meetings, etc. Of course, my office and my partners and my firm do it very well. So in fact, let me share with you that I also took a little bit of training before this session in order to, understand how to share screens and all that. Because in most of the meetings where I've been sitting, it was basically the other side who used to scare the scene. Home. So what happens to our work? And given that challenges, what I have done in this presentation is to articulate how did we tackle this entire lockdown period, which was a crucial period. Crucial period in the sense it started in the last week of March. We had 31st of March, which was the year end. And post 31st March till June, 3 months had gone. So basically for listed companies, we had to undertake audits of those listed companies. And I'll share some thoughts on that as to how we did it, how the clients faced the entire situation, how we did some experience, and therefore, and what does it entail for all of us going forward? Do we take lessons from here and adopt it in our own offices and in our own working? The good part of it. And I'll tell you, there is a lot of positives as far as this lockdown is also concerned. Personally, for me also, there were a lot of positives. I mean, we all used to work on technology, on the e-filing of income tax returns, this, that. We are all used to technology, all of us. We are used to Excel, we are used to Word, etc. But it is the first time that, when you're locked down in your own homes, how do you access not only data which resides on your own server in your office, but how do you, connect with your client? How do you render service to your client as far as audit is concerned? So, I mean, I've taken the example of audit as it's only an example. It's only one of these services, but this can be multiplied in all kinds of services. So this is just an example which, I have taken and try to run through as to how we addressed all the bottlenecks and all the hurdles we had as far as audit is concerned. So as I mentioned, what were the effects of the lockdown? Number one, the travel restrictions. So one could not move out of one's own home. And as Mr. Jain, Chairman SIRC, also mentioned that please don't go out of your home unless it is absolutely required, and be extremely careful because there's no point in taking unnecessary, venturing out and taking unnecessary chances in this times. And the stories which we hear are not very, good. And therefore, bid this time. Once this time passes, and I'm sure it will pass and pass very soon, things will change, and then we will be again back to what we were doing. So travel restriction was one of the major concerns as to I'm locked down in my home. How do I render my service? Number two, your audit and other schedules went for a toss because you had a schedule. I mean, every firm has their own schedule, that I'll do this in the month of April, I'll do this in the month of May, I'll do this in the month of June. But because of the lockdown and because of all the bottlenecks we have, all the schedules completely went for a haywire. Communication with clients. Now we are all used to, as an CA firm, we are all used to, communicating with a client on a face-to-face basis. So whenever we render any service. For example, we render audit service. So our team goes to the audit client place. Then the partner also goes to the client place, discusses, sits across with the staff of the client, CFO, the owner, managing director, or the board of directors, executive directors. And then we render our service. So this was our normal style of rendering service. And we couldn't even imagine for a moment that if we do not meet our clients, how do we render audit service? Challenges with reference to meeting regulatory compliances. As you're all aware, there were a lot of compliances which fall, and we are in the regime of considerable amount of compliances. So every now and then there's a compliance which comes up, maybe in the, say, audit field or in our tax practice or other practices. So how did we, cope up with the challenges of regulatory compliances? Access to data. Now, when I talk of data over here, it is both digital data as well as physical data. How did we cope up with this challenge? So because we had a problem in accessing data. Then team meeting and client meeting. So when we do an audit or when we do any other work in our own office, we have team members who come and who work with us, and we have team meetings, we have client meetings. So these were all impacted very badly by the lockdown of COVID. So what happened during these 3 months? As I mentioned, these were difficult times. So we had to find our approach towards work as to how do we approach work and how do we adapt to the changed circumstances. Now, what are the changed circumstances? That we were sitting in our home, we were not able to move out, we were not able to get access to any physical document. So how did we do all that? And it has taught us new perspective to live our lives and the way we do our work. As far as new perspective to life is concerned, the fact that we were told and the nature told us that, remain in your own house, don't move out. And we've lived it. We've lived now, it's more than 3.5 months. We've lived our lives, and we've adjusted to the new life, and there was no travel, absolutely no local travel, no international travels. Place like Mumbai, we didn't have local trains, we didn't have buses, we didn't have anything. And therefore, and plus there was a strict vigil by the police that you couldn't move out of your own houses. So we learned from each other. I mean, we learned from the experiences of each other. We were interacting with clients, we were interacting with other, like-minded CA firms, we were interacting with our team members. And that gave a lot of experiences, a lot of, ways and means as to how to approach work and how to, go forward in our practice. So question for all of us to deliberate was, how is COVID impacting our profession? And whether we are ready to overcome its impact? And what are the lessons we have learned for the future? These are very important questions. And in fact, as I make my presentation, you would realize that COVID for the profession, if we take it positively, was a blessing in disguise, because it opened doors to several things. And it has opened doors to things which, when I discuss some of the aspects in my future slide, you will realize that in fact, on the one side, it was negative on health and those kind of things. But on the other side, because we were locked down to our own homes, it has really opened doors to several things, and especially on delivery of service, which is paramount as far as we CA firms are concerned. Now let's start with work from home. So all of us, started working from home. And in fact, I would like to share with you what my wife says at home, because I never sat at home and ever worked, barring half an hour or whatever extra work remains, which after you finish your office or before you go to office, you feel like, finishing some work. But she never saw me sitting at home and working. So when my brother-in-law called her once, he stays in Canada, and he asked her that, how am I taking the entire COVID situation, lockdown, sit at home? So how am I taking work? And she remarked that earlier, and this is in the lighter vein, but I think it's a very fairly serious comment as well, that she said that earlier he was working from 11 to 6 because your office time was 11 a.m. in the morning, and he used to finish his work by 6 and come back home. Now it's the reverse. He works from 6 to 11. So which is from 6 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock in the night, because as soon as you get up, you have the computer, you have your server available with you. So, if an idea comes to mind, if a thought comes to mind, you start working even at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's, of course, in the lighter vein, but many of us have experienced that this work from home has actually increased our work hours or increased the work which we are doing. So which at least I have experienced in my own personal capacity, that my output has gone up substantially from what I was doing at office, because I was wasting my time on commuting and I was wasting time at home. But now, barring my personal things which I do at home, I'm on my computer and I'm working. So that, brings in the concept of work from home. So work from home, I've seen this in a practical sense of the word work from home in the United States of America. And let me give you a couple of examples. My sister-in-law, again, a personal example I've gone through. My sister-in-law's son is in the IT. He's an expert on IT security. He's a young person who just graduated from college and started working. And he works only from home. He doesn't go to office at all. So his entire, work. So whether it is, if he's supposed to work in the night, he'll work in the entire night. If he's supposed to work in the morning shift, he'll work in the morning, but entirely. And what is work? I've been to their house and I've stayed with them as well. He would not even, come down. His office was on the upper level in the house. He would not even come down. He would just come down for lunch, again go up. So this is an example of my own. And one more family I'd gone to in the US, where an elderly person, maybe my age, who was again working, I think for TCS or one of the IT company, Wipro or Infosys, whatever. But he was working in New Jersey in the US. And there the houses are, they have a basement as well. So he had an office in the basement. So we had gone for lunch to their house. And the lady came and she sat with us. We chatted, we talked. My wife was with me. But this gentleman who was working from home never came up from the basement. He didn't even come up to say hello. He was working. He came up at the lunchtime, had lunch. As soon as he finished lunch, he went back down. He didn't even sit down 5 minutes and talk to us. It was his work time, and therefore, so all that I'm trying to point out is that we have a nagging thought behind us that if somebody is working from home, and as the firm owner, you have to look at the whether he is working full time or not. There's always a lagging doubt in our mind, but I think things will change completely. We will get used to this entire concept of work from home. We will get used to the fact that how to measure output. I'll come to that when we come to the subsequent slides. We as chartered accountancy firms, we always thought that, work from home, no, not for CA firms, because if I'm doing an audit, I have to go to client place, I have to sit with the client, I have to sit with the CFO. I have to sit with their staff. My team goes to their workplace, the audit place. We have to sit and do things. So that was a belief in most of the CA firms we had. But COVID-19 has completely shattered this myth. And I call it myth because we were faced with a situation where listed companies had to finalize their full set of accounts, not only limited review, but full set of accounts. And we were able to do the audits. And we handled some very large audits of some very large companies in India, as well as private sector audits as well. So I'll again talk about experience as to how we handle situation, how was the preparedness of the client, and the experiences which we have gained. And what has made this possible? It is vast scale of digitization, number one. Number two, advancement of technology. And number three, connectivity. Because today we have good connectivity, like the way we are, today doing this webinar. I'm sitting in Mumbai in my home. All of you are sitting at your own homes in Vijayawada or Madurai or Chennai or elsewhere. And we are able to successfully conduct the seminar. Just like if we were there physically present in a hall, and I would be making this presentation of the slideshow and talking about it. So connectivity, internet connectivity, broadband, and cheap data plans has really been a game changer for all of us. And as I mentioned that, many of the companies have published their full set of financial statements. So the SEBI had extended the time limit for the companies which were earlier 31st of May. They initially extended it to 30th of June. And thereafter, they have done it to 31st of July. But most of the companies have finished their full set of financial statements audit by 30th of June. So they have had their audit committees, they have had their board meetings, and their financial statements are out. Those have been signed, sealed, and delivered. So this slide, of course, talks about the fact that we all must adopt policy to work from home. What are the advantages of working from home? Optimum utilization of office space. I'm not sure about Vijayawada or other places, but a place like Mumbai, as again in the lighter vein, if I say so, that we all live in pigeonholes and our offices are also small. When I say small, it's comparatively small compared to the number of staff and people who are there in the office. The office space is small because office space is extremely precious in Mumbai. The real estate prices are extremely high. The rentals are really high. And therefore, what will happen by virtue of this work from home, if it is adopted in the foreseeable future as an option to work and render service, it will optimize utilization of office space. It will avoid travel time and cost. Now, again, if I talk of a place like Mumbai, as you're all aware, Mumbai is a strip. We have north-south. And people on an average in Mumbai commute to work from home, only from work and home, commute at least 2 hours. At least, it could be more, but not less. So that's the kind of travel time and cost we are incurring in reaching office. And so that's a time which is wasted. That is not productively used for work. But if you sit at home and work, that time is saved. So you can invest that time in work. Optimize cost by hiring good resource based in small cities. Now, what does this mean? Now, if I have an office in Mumbai and if I'm practicing from Mumbai, I hire people. So I hire, say, qualified people. I hire partly qualified, semi-qualified people. I hire article clerks or, graduates or other people. Place like Mumbai, the cost of those resources are high. obviously because they have to live in Mumbai and therefore their cost of living is high. So the outgo of the firm also is high because of the fact that we are in Mumbai. Now look at a fact that because of work from home, there is a depth of distance. It's called depth of distance. And it's no longer relevant whether the person who's working from me should be staying in Mumbai. He can stay in Vijayawada, he can stay in Chennai, he can stay in Madurai, he can stay in Calcutta, Delhi, or any small village for that matter. As long as, he has the infrastructure with him, IT infrastructure, he or she can render service. So this is one very important aspect that, good resource, be it at any place, can be hired by firms which require, good resource. Look at other aspects that there are very good experienced female chartered accountants who are not in the mainstream. Now, why not in the mainstream? Well, obviously, they have their own limitations because of the household, duties and household work, etc. So they fall out. In fact, after practicing and once the family settles and children and they have more responsibilities, they fall out of the mainstream. So work from home actually will start bringing these chartered accountant, women chartered accountant who are very talented to come back. And why I'm saying so? Because if you're sitting at home and working, you can adjust your entire work schedule according to your work, house work, etc. In a manner in which you can do justice to both your house also as well as your work. So this will open, and good firms will also look at experienced women chartered accountants who will come into the mainstream because of work from home. You'll be able to attract and retain good talent of young generation because the younger generation wants work-life balance and those kind of things. All of us want, but more so in the younger generation. So with work from home, you're not wasting your time, commuting and other things, but you're giving X time to your work and balance time you can have for your own. But it will have its own challenges and threats also. So let's look at some of them. Managing the confidentiality of the client data. Very important aspect. Under the Chartered Accountants Act, client data confidentiality is the most important aspect which is stressed. So why does the client come to us? Because he trusts us. And we have to, in fact, reciprocate that trust by ensuring that his data, the client's data, will remain confidential only with us and nobody. But the problem here is that if you work from home, or rather if your teams also work from home, how do you ensure that the client data will not get leaked and it will remain confidential? So this is one issue which arises because of work from home. Measuring the productivity and efficiency of the employees. Now, when you're sitting in your own office, you have in front of your own eyes the person sitting and working. Therefore, this person is actually, putting in 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever time which is required. And therefore, we feel that because he is sitting in the office and he's sitting on his desk and working, he's a productive person and he's giving output. Of course, we do also measure on the basis of output which the person gives. So how do you measure if the scenario now changes to work from home? He becomes invisible. So I don't see him all the 8 hours, 9 hours, that whether he's sitting and working. But of course, I do see his output. So this will be a challenge which will need to be addressed. And of course, there'll be an additional spending on IT, infra, etc. Because obviously, if you you will need, better IT infrastructure. At each homes, better connectivity, all the software and tools which are required for your practice and service rendering of the service. This will be, there'll be a spending on IT infra. But of course, I'm sure, as time evolves and as we gain experiences, all these challenges and threats, technology will, overcome these, and we will find a good model of work from home, which will be a reality. And in fact, we will not, need or require ourselves to go to office and work. Coming to virtual meetings. Now, if you work from home, obviously you don't meet, either your client or your team or your partners. So the need for virtual meetings is very, very important. And it's a learning for all of us, like what we are doing today. And I'm very happy that, this webinar, everybody is so disciplined that they have muted themselves, because I've attended meetings where I've seen people unmuting and all the background noise coming and whatnot. So this is a learning for all of us as to how do we face this entire, new era of virtual meetings. So we have the tools. We have Microsoft Teams, Zoom, what we are doing our meeting today, Google Meet, etc. There are a lot of apps are available on virtual meetings. But before the lockdown, these were used by us only socially. But look, I don't think any of us use, these tools to a great extent. I'm sure we must have used it. I'm not saying that we've not used it, but not to a great extent. But these COVID times, when we are all locked down, this has opened our eyes that all the meetings which we were doing earlier, physical meetings like going to client place or going to the income tax department, going somewhere else, can all be achieved equally well by these apps. So virtual meetings is another, if I may say so, if it is called a new normal. And I think it will become a norm, I think now, because there are a lot of benefits of virtual meeting. So what are the benefits? It gives us an opportunity to connect more with the client, because you obviously save commuting time, number one. Number two, you can sync calendars very quickly of both yourself and your client and connect at any time. And you can connect at any hour. I sit on the audit committees of UNICEF, which is based out of New York. And because of this lockdown, I've had meetings where I had to attend from, in fact, yesterday I attended a UNICEF audit committee meeting where we met the executive director who came from San Francisco. There were people from New York. There was a person from Italy. And we did successfully a meeting. I sat over here at 9:30 in the night. They were sitting early morning, 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. And we did a meeting. So it's convenient. You can do it anytime you want. It's not as if you have to restrict yourself only to the office hours, 11 to 6 or whatever. You can connect better with your team. Now, what was the present situation? That all your people assembled in the office. We all assembled in the office, partners, staff, the sub-staff, everybody assembled in the office. And we used to work with our teams in the office physically. But in this COVID times, we all had to work virtually. So with our own teams, we worked virtually. So this also, will become a new normal, according to me. So the CA firms will have to evolve policies around virtual meetings. Now, when I say policy means, how the meetings will be taken, how the meetings will be conducted, who should speak, what is the etiquette of the meeting, so on and so forth. So there are several things involved, and we are all learning. All of us are learning as to how to conduct virtual meetings. So this is virtual meeting. Now coming to document management system. So this is another important aspect, which though there was a lot of, digitization which has taken place already, but the lockdown and COVID times has actually taught us a lesson. And we have all now realized that it is not only, the amount of documentation which we have done, document digitization which we have done in our offices, in client offices, but we need to do more. So what our experience was in respect of audits of clients which we did, that the companies who had implemented document management systems to a very, very great extent. When I say very great extent, what it means is that no papers at all in office. Whatever papers were there, if they had digitized everything and put it on their server or in the ERP systems or wherever, such clients, it was a breeze. Even for the clients to continue business was a breeze, because no matter whether you're sitting in your office or you're sitting at home and working, the documents were available. But there are some companies, of course, who are not fully implemented the document. So there were some documents which are lying in offices in paper form, which were not available. So somebody had to go to office, digitize them, and scan those documents and make available those documents to the auditors. So these are some challenges which we faced when we did the audits of smaller companies and companies where DMS was not fully implemented. Now, in the current times, there are a lot of DMS packages which are available, and they are not costly, and they can be integrated fully with your existing ERP. When I say existing ERP, be it SAP, Oracle, core banking, or even Tally for that matter, or any other accounting software. So all these softwares which will now again evolve will all look at this important concept of document management. So this again is a lessons we're learning because of the COVID. And as I mentioned, post-lockdown, most of the organization, including the CA office, our own offices also, we will shift to full implementation of DMS, considering the need for the hour. Now that raises an important, aspect which each one of us must, grab. It's an opportunity. So what's the opportunity? The opportunity is that as the companies, entities, businesses will implement DMS systems in their organizations, there'll be a very good opportunity to CA firms to develop this line of service. And not only document management system, but I can talk of digitization as well. There are several aspects of digitization. For example, if there is certain data lying, digital data again, not necessarily physical data, but digital data lying in the legacy system. Some are in the new system, which the client has implemented. The clients may now want to migrate that data into the new system. A CA firm who's well qualified, and our young technocrats, who I call techno accountants and auditors, it will come in the subsequent slides. This is a very good opportunity. You can build teams on this and render this as a full-blown service to your client. Make this service as a product, and I'm sure it will have good demand from the clients. Paperless flow workflow. Now, what is the meaning of this paperless workflow? So when you're sitting in office and doing some things, what happens is that, let me take an example of, say, for example, an industry. You have the purchase requisition. So somebody will make a requisition slip saying that I want this material, X quantity of material for manufacturing. That requisition slip goes to the stores department. The stores department verifies the inventory and says that, oh yeah, this inventory is available only this extent. We need to do buying of Y extent. Then that document goes to the purchase department. The purchase department looks at the quantity which is to be purchased, places a purchase order, so on and so forth. So all these processes were right now manual, many of them. But all these processes are available in the ERP, a full-blown ERP, on the system itself. So you did not have any workflow, paper which is required. So even companies and all will start looking at the entire workflow process in the system itself and not leave it to any paperwork to be done. So this also is an important aspect. Similarly, in our own offices as well. And when I come to, the audits per se, we also have a sign off. For example, the audit plan has to be signed off by, say, a partner, or the worksheet has to be signed off by a team member as to what work he or she has completed. So all those things are now happening virtually. So we need to put in place systems and paperless workflow. So this is an important aspect, which, I'm sure COVID has actually opened our eyes, and this will happen at a very fast pace in the future. Now, having said that, what are the, increasing threats, risks and threats for the audit firms? One is, of course, huge exposure to the digital records in future. So you will no longer get any physical document, but your client will say, okay, I'm giving you a login. Please log into my server or my data room. See whatever you want, everything is there. And sign your opinion and give your opinion. Now all that is digital. And you're all aware as to in digital world, how easy it is to manipulate digital records. So this is a new threat which will emerge because of the digital records. But I'm sure technology will evolve and will address this issue of the huge digital records in future. Coupled with that, because of the huge exposure to digital record, the auditors are supposed to consider fraud assessment when they are doing that audit. That's a standard of auditing, that based on the risk assessment of a client, you will pick up areas of audit and accordingly look at those areas in order to satisfy yourself that there is no misstatement in the financial statements, and the financial statements give a true and fair view of the state of affairs. There too, I'm sure regulators and the ICAI will come up with new standards which will address this entire issue of how to handle frauds in the new situation. Now let me talk of what happened to the audit processes this year because of the lockdown and COVID situation. So what were the new things which happened? Number one, balance confirmation. So this is again a mandatory standard that third-party balance confirmation from the third party is required, and the auditor is supposed to obtain a direct confirmation from the third party and not from the client. And we are all aware that the Satyam, the entire fraud happened because of no direct confirmation, but confirmation through the client, and therefore there is a lot of emphasis on this standard on obtaining direct confirmation from the clients, from the third party, not from the client. So this year what happened was that because one could not post the physical confirmations. Otherwise what happens is that one used to post the physical confirmation in an envelope. It used to go to the third party with a prepaid envelope, and in return, the third party used to send back the confirmation to you. But that was not possible this time. So what happened was that the confirmation happens through emails, A. Number two, it happened through digital platforms. So now there are digital platforms available where with client consent, if you take the client's third-party balances and upload those along with the email addresses, phone numbers, etc. An email is shot off to that client. The client can, the third party, not client, the third party can then sign in and either confirm or reject the confirmation or say that this is reconciliation, there are differences, etc. So all that happened virtually. We use secure digital platforms or server to access data and share data with clients and team members. Again, because of the lockdown, the clients had to open their server or data room where all the data was put in. There was a VPN, a virtual private network given to us. And we, in turn, gave it to our team members, again, who were sitting in different locations at their own homes in order to carry out the audit. So this is, again, a new experience because we always had this position of going to the client place, taking your laptop, logging in over there, and looking at data sitting in the client place. But that has completely changed. And what used to happen was even teams used to sit together in client place. So if there was say 10 people sitting in a client's place, all the 10 used to go and sit in the auditor's room and look at data and look at analyzing and looking and again reporting back to the partners. So the teams have also reviewed all these data in soft form. So no longer you told the client, give me this agreement. So, the office boy or the relevant official would bring a copy of the agreement and show you, look, this is the agreement, physical copy of the agreement. All that thing didn't happen this time. So everything what you wanted was in soft copy. All your data, all your agreements, whatever documents you wanted to verify, everything came in soft. And the teams also looked at it only in soft form. They never used to take printout, nothing. So, one got trained how to, view this data in a soft form. Physical verification of inventory and cash. Now, again, this is a very important standard that, you must take physical inventory and you must count physical cash when you do an audit. So what happened this time? How did we do it? So in many clients, what really happened was that if it was a factory where the inventories were being taken, either we connected through the Zoom call or whatever, Google Meet or whichever app which was there, video app, where when they were counting the physical inventory, we used to verify from our end that the physical inventory is being counted properly. We made notes, and that's how inventories were counted. We took evidence of photographs also of course, we couldn't record the entire stock taking or cash counting because it takes days together to do inventory, physical verification, etc. So what we did was we did a video, but we took snaps to keep as an evidence in our audit documentation that inventory physical verification was done. And this is how inventory was reconciled and reconciled and valued and taken in the books. Cash, similarly, when cash counting took place, again, a video was recorded, and that's how. Challenges here were that in remote places where factories were there, it was only on WhatsApp or whatever. So where technology network was not good, it happened again, not in a very scientific way, but it did still happen. In some of the clients, what we did was we even outsourced the inventory valuation. After the lockdown was partially lifted in some of the places, what we did was we engaged a local CA firm there and asked them to physically go and take inventory, and whatever our staff would have done if they had gone there and taken inventory was done by that firm, and they reported back to us, and we took that report and we worked on that basis. All the audit checklist, as I mentioned, programs, audit programs, were digitally signed or initialed. So there were no physical signatures, no for the purpose of our audit documentation. Everything was done virtually. All the audit reports, certificates were all signed digitally. We also attended the audit committees of various companies on virtual, like this Google Zoom, what we are having now, or any other virtual meeting platform. And as I'm presenting the slideshow today, that's how we presented to the audit committee as well. And that's how the audit committee took on record. They asked questions, we replied. The matter went to board. Board meetings was also virtual. The accounts were seen, they were adopted by the board. And once they were adopted, question came of signing. Those signatures also were done digitally. So we are all aware digital signatures we are using for e-filing of income tax return, GST return, and other returns. Similarly, this time, for the first time, perhaps the audit reports were signed digitally. So the audit report which we had, a soft copy of the audit report, the partner put in the digital signature, signed digitally, and emailed the copy of the digitally signed audit report to the company. So that's how signatures also took place this time. Now, audit documentation. The entire audit documentation this time happened in a soft form. Our experience was in the past that, however, whichever companies we audited, at the end of the day when audit documentation was done, we had huge files of box files of papers, audit documentation, with the staff used to sit down, index, make the things, and then we used to properly bundle them up and keep the audit documentation as an evidence in case it is required in the future. But this time, nothing of that sort happened. No physical papers at all. Everything was done in a soft form. And there, of course, we used Office 365 is the platform we used. In Office 365, there's Microsoft has an app called Teams, which is an excellent app for, just like the Google Meet, or Zoom, what we are doing now, to interact with people. There, the added advantage of the Teams is that Teams coupled with OneDrive. OneDrive is basically the cloud of Microsoft, where the files were, shared and they were put on OneDrive. And what the experience was very, very good, because earlier what used to happen is that when the staff used to go and do some work, they used to bring a document, sit with the partner, they used to exchange emails with the partner, send the document, the partner would make changes. Then it went to the senior partner would make changes. So there were several versions of that same document which remained. And ultimately, there was a confusion as to which is the last document, and then to keep that last document in the audit file was itself a big challenge. So what happened this time? Because of OneDrive, there was only one document which was being passed on between the teams and the partner and the senior partner. The same document was being edited by each one of them. So there was no need to, there were no multiple versions of a document. And it was very easy to then, archive that document in a audit documentation folder. So entire audit documentation also is now on soft form on OneDrive. Now, if you see NFRA, which is the new regulatory authority on audits in India under the Companies Act, they have also issued draft guidelines, and they are formulating the entire, the guidelines on how they will do inspection of audits, how they will do, quality checks on audits. They will do what they are envisaging, from what we read from the draft guidelines, is that they do everything on soft now. So they are also insisting that all audit files which are there should be submitted to them only in soft form and no hard document at all. So this will be a very big advantage. Which, I mean, again, as I say, blessing in disguise that you have this now everything in soft. So these things will be very easy to submit and follow. Similarly, I think even the quality review board, which does a quality review of audits, or the peer review board, where the peer review is done, I think many of these things will go virtual, and therefore soft form of audit documentation will be the order of the day in future. So just to summarize what we have just discussed and what we need to do, what are the changes which are needed in every CA firm. We need to build competent teams to handle change in business dynamics. Now, more digitization will take place at the client place is one thing which is a reality which we cannot ignore. Having said that, if that is a reality, on the other side, in our own offices also, we need to build competent teams to handle changes. Extremely important. We have to live with times. Audit team mix will also undergo a change. And I dare say that there could be a time when you will even need a IT expert in an audit team. Just to meet the entire nuances of IT issues and issues which arise because of IT, to address those issues in an audit engagement. Now, this is what I already mentioned, that CAs of future will be techno accountants and auditors. Of course, we are senior, quite senior, so not that good at technology, but I'm sure our youngsters will be not only accountants or auditors, but they'll be techno accountants and techno auditors. And that will be a skill which will be badly required, and I'm sure the institute and will also focus and move towards education. The firms also will impart training on the techno side also of accountants and auditors, which we are already doing, not that we are not doing. Like, for example, e-filing and those IT returns. Now everything is on IT, and therefore, as I used to say in some of the earlier conferences, that Income Tax Act is not only Income Tax Act, but now it's the IT Income Tax Act, because IT portion is also very important, other than what's written in the law. Because if you get a return form and how to fill that return form, and to avoid any blunders, you need to know IT as well. Implement safe, secure, and user-friendly digital tools to carry out audit in remote environment. We've discussed this enough, that you will need good tools. I'm sure there'll be tools which would come up, and IT tools which will really take us forward in this entire journey of digital and remote auditing. And impart training to team on remote auditing and sharpen their skills. Now, this will be a continuous learning. It's not as if, once COVID is over and things are over, things will get back to normal. No, it will not. So if we come up, technology and digitalization would be the driving force that would revolutionize the audit, future of the audit. Digitization, as I mentioned, is associated with risk and threats. So CA firms also will have to transform and focus on constant skill and methodology upgradation in complex IT environment. And we have to live up to the ever-increasing expectations in the society from the profession. So this is, I think, the future which we all have to embrace. Coming to communication, I think I've discussed all these aspects in the earlier slides. Just to harp on this etiquette of virtual meetings. It's extremely important that we all, learn how to handle virtual meetings, because there are things which we do in physical meetings which we are not supposed to do in virtual meetings. So no crosstalk, no background noise. So when I'm not speaking, I should mute myself. How should I raise my hand when I want to speak, so on and so forth. So all this will come by way of a learning. I mean, it's not rocket science, but I'm sure all these things will come about. And this is my last slide where I'm talking of the future. And how do I see COVID, impacting the future in a positive way? Now, due to our successful experience of remote audit, we have gained enough experience, to work from home, and we are going to sharpen our skills also, how to, better and better work from home and improve our, methodologies and digitization, the virtual meetings, and increased use of technology and IT tools will actually open up newer opportunities. And let me give you an example. I'm sitting in Mumbai. So I did audit of, say, several corporations very successfully. And my team is also very happy. My partners are very happy that, they could do substantially good work, and what they used to do physically in the pre-COVID environment, they were able to completely replicate it in the COVID environment also, the lockdown environment. So what will happen is that we've heard about outsourcing of accounting. So many firms in India do outsourcing of accounting work from outside India. Similarly, I think a time will come where the remote auditing will also start. So for example, there is a company outside India, a CA local firm is engaged outside India, say maybe in US, UK, wherever, and they want to outsource the audit work to an Indian firm. So all our auditing standards are at par with global standards. All our accounting standard, the IF is at par with IFRS. If we are here to do all that, this will open a huge opportunity for outsourcing from outside India. Similarly, it will open even doors to local remote auditing as well in India. For example, a person sitting in Vijayawada and somebody say in Hyderabad, a company in Hyderabad wants to, get the work, the accounts audited. Why can't he engage a firm in Vijayawada? I mean, if you are able to render same quality of service, no matter whether you're in Hyderabad or you're in Vijayawada or you're in Chennai or wherever, how does it matter? So as they call the technology will actually, there'll be depth to distance, as they call it. Again, going back to my yesterday's example of UNICEF audit committee, which I attended, is actually a depth to distance. I was sitting thousands of miles away in India, and those people were sitting in New York and San Francisco and where. So there was a depth of distance. So distance did not matter, but because of technology, we could carry out our work, whatever we intended to. So this will open, please keep your eyes and ears open. This will throw a lot of opportunities as well. And let me end with what our Honorable Prime Minister said, Atmanirbhar India and Vocal for Local India. This will definitely, I think, is a good positive outcome of COVID will be growth of Indian CA firms, which I'm looking at. So as I'll just conclude by this last sentence, which I've written in my article as well. The experience of lockdown has forced us to unlock ourselves to adopt new positive learnings with respect to technology, skills, and methodology. And such continuous positive learning will definitely open doors to a lot of new opportunities for Indian CA firms. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for a very patient hearing. It's 6:30, so I think chairman had given me time till 6:30, and I think I overshot it by 3 minutes. But this was my broad presentation on the, and I would love to hear from each one of you. I mean, I don't want questions, but I would love to hear from you, your experiences, your sharing, and not necessarily in audit, in whatever areas of practice you're rendering, I would love to hear from you so that we all learn from each other's experience. Thank you very much, Chairman. I'll hand over the proceedings back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Really, really great. That documentation part, audit documentation part, now is taking care as a prime motto. No matter that most of the things will be automatically documented now in this scenario, this COVID scenario. Because if you see the tally and everything, and we'll write what are the doubts that what we are having, all will be automatically documented. What are the replies that they are giving? Documented automatically. Thank you very much.
Chairman, if you permit, Chairman, if you permit for a minute, I'll just show one more slide. Let me.
Yes, sir.
Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah, please.
Okay, let me not waste time. There's one more slide on. People have asked a question that Microsoft Teams, for example, and OneDrive, what we use.
Yes.
Is a very costly software.
Okay.
It is actually not costly. Let me inform the members that Teams, which is, you can do collaboration and all that. OneDrive, you can get 1 TB of data, cloud data. You can get 50 GB of the email data included in 1 TB. Teams for just 125 rupees a month per user, which is less than one. I'm told that if you go in the market and if you bargain, they'll give you for 1,000 rupees one official licensed version. So we use it very extensively. All our team members have Office 365 license. We have taken a higher version of license, but essential license, if you take, it's only 1,000 rupees a month. You fantastic, capabilities of doing remote audit and remote work. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Really good information, because everybody is looking at the safest apps that are prevailing over here and there, and even we have planned a session with Guru Prasad sir. He has given a lot of information about the technology audit and everything. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I'll share my own experience. In the bank audit, I have been given a Chikmagalur in Bangalore. They are given the Chikmagalur. We have done all the audit in this thing, and we have taken the help of the local chartered accountant for verification of the documentation part and cash physical verification. Like that, he will have his own cup of tea, and also the things will be completed in a very, very safe manner. Because even take for example this meeting. See, you are sitting at this thing, no flight charges, no room charges, nothing is there. Traveling time, it is convenient to you and everyone. No cost is involved except the Zoom cost per month. It is $200 or something like that. It's very, very minimum, bare minimum that what we are paying and everything. Like that, we are able to hear from you the audit experience, because what we are telling that the person who are sitting in the San Francisco and person you are sitting in the India and meeting the people at this thing, really, really great, sir. Because how much travel time and how much the money that is being saved in all these things. So that too we can deliver the things in a good manner. Like that, even the Prime Minister is saying vocal to local, that place barriers and everything, they are just removing it. And only the thing is, we have to imbibe the IT in IT. Information technology in income tax or GST, whatever the case may be. Almost GST has been running in a very, very good technology platform. But in IT also, we have to transform the things, because the e-assessments and e-proceedings, everything is there. So our accounts has to speak, not that we have to advocate in front of the income tax officer or the assistant commissioner that our party is good or something like that. We have to show the accounts should speak the volumes about the customer or whatever the case may be. So thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us in this excellently. And I see that what are the things, only appreciations are there. We are able to communicate more efficiently. In the chat box, only appreciations about your this thing is there, sir. So if I request, I'll unmute all the persons, and if anybody is requested to post the questions to Kamlesh sir, he is very much interested in answering. Yes, sir. Anyone? Or anyone want any clarification from the sir? So friends, if there are no questions, we'll...
Chairman, can I take just a couple of minutes?
Please, sir. Please, sir. Go ahead.
See, our experience in income tax, for example, and GST, as you rightly said, Chairman, that it's all digitized now. So there's no longer all physical filing, and the number of documents which are going physically to the income tax department and GST are hardly any. So that also is getting slowly digitized. So we are moving in this entire digital world on tax side. Similarly, I think we should do it on the audit side as well. I mean, it is a huge amount of advantage and huge amount of cost saving and huge amount of efficiencies which we can build into the entire process of auditing and other rendering of services as well. So it will open a huge amount of opportunities.
Yes, sir. The remote chart. Sorry, anybody? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think there are no questions as such. Thank you for coming over here. Sorry, big sorry that we cannot offer a cup of tea for you.
No. I'll come there. I'll come there physically whenever it's possible.
You're always welcome to the Vijayawada.
I would love to meet all of you personally and part of
So nice of you. It can be happened any point of this year or the next year or something like that.
Certainly. Thank you very much for inviting me. And it is I really loved it. All the members. Thank you very much. Thank you.
DC sir, Dungarchen Jain sir, for coming and gracing the occasion and given the valuable message. Thank you, Chinnamastan sir. As always, sir, Chinnamastan sir, you are, I think you are unmuted.
I'm available, sir.
Yeah, please, sir. Your comments in this regard.
So regarding the session, sir?
Yeah, regarding the session and closing remarks regarding the session.
No, it was the knowledge you get the most of the members, sir. But still, it's required how to use the specifically. Because most of the members in the last session also they heard about that how to use the technology. But the implementation part, if it's comes to the exactly where we should download the app, how to use. If it comes to that in practical point of view, then it is implement to every office. So that's now we get the overall knowledge, the how to use. But the implementation part, because that's all the medium level and lower level firms, it's implementation. Nobody having that good knowledge. So it's required the implementation part, sir, and it's required really the link or that practical demo. That is the more enough, sir. Thank you so much.
No, you're absolutely right. I completely agree with you. And just to take 2 minutes of yours.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. So even firms like us, when we started,
yes,
we didn't have a clue as to what to do. Lockdown.
Yes, that is that.
How do you address? How do you to clients? But over a period of time, when we started talking to clients, when we started talking to peers, when we started sharing experience, as I mentioned in one of the slides,
yes,
is that we share. So when I mentioned about Teams and OneDrive. That is an excellent software.
Okay.
Very cheap, 1,000 rupees a year. I mean, it's not affordable to everybody. By 1,000 rupees a year, I mean, you can get an excellent software which get into the water to swim,
Yes.
and that was applicable to us as well,
Yes, perfectly.
to everybody
Yes, yes.
across the across the world, not only in India,
Yes,
but across
yes.
the world. People will have to get into it.
Perfect.
And I'm sure. See, our members are so efficient. I have no doubts in my mind that once they take up a challenge, they will
Correct.
convert it into
Perfect.
opportunity. They will make and in fact, they will create a product out of how to do remote audit into a product, and all our experiences put together will really become a very good product for remote auditing.
Yes, surely, sir. It will come that days.
It will happen.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bhupati sir is also there. Thank you.
Oh.
Nice for
Hello.
this thing,
How are
sir.
you?
How are you, sir?
Your
Good to see you.
brother is there.
I just wanted to listen to you, but I watched only the last part of it.
Oh,
And the last observation which you made, that even for audit, we could follow the same practice which the tax department has followed. I think it will go a long way. You would remember about 25 years ago, if you walk through the corridors of the income tax department, both sides there will be steel almirahs.
correct.
Both sides will steel almirahs where all the files will be kept. But today, if you go to the income tax department, the corridors are absolutely empty. And the records which they have is very less. So same thing could be replicated for audits of companies also. The space you will save will be the space cost, particularly in cities, is very exorbitant, and you could have a considerable savings on it. So that is where we should push and use this COVID as an leverage to accelerate that process.
Very well said, sir. Very well articulated. You're absolutely right. I mean, it has actually opened our eyes. I'll tell you honestly. From us, we were always saying, remote documentation and soft documentation and all that, but it never happened. But people had the habit of bringing big box files and, dumping all the box files in offices. But because there was no paper, everything is virtual.
I know.
All the documentation is virtual. So
I know.
absolutely right. I mean, you're beautifully articulated what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Thank you so
Sir,
much.
extremely
So nice
Thank
watching
you.
to you.
Pleasure
speak to-
meeting.
Thank you.
Bhupati sir, extremely sorry. Sir asked about your link in the 5 o'clock, but I have not seen the phone because of the
session
link.
was on.
No problem. At least the last part
So
of it
I
I was
am able to send in the last minute only. So that's
No
why
problem.
he came immediately. Thank
No,
you.
so
sir.
I missed him because I'll listen to his talk as well.
No, it's okay.
He's on
So send me a link for that as well.
Yeah, it is on.
I would love to. I'd love to hear him because
Definitely, sir.
we have not met for a long time.
Yes,
I
sir.
know.
And
So
we
same
worked
link
in
can be
December
used. Sir.
during international
Same link
conference.
can be used
Yes.
for every day, sir. That link and
Oh, okay.
meeting ID password is same for every day, sir.
No, I will log in. I will
Every day.
certainly want to hear all the luminaries which are there and
Yes, sir.
gain knowledge from their practical experience.
We are really blessed to have the luminaries like you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So kind
Thank
of you.
Thank you.
Chinnamastan sir, thank you for advising us and able to make this type of meetings possible, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Love you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
you and good
Chairman,
night.
your technology is very, very efficient and very clear. We are able to see, you are able to listen. So congratulations for taking it forward.
Thank
It
you,
doesn't mean, it doesn't look like Vijayawada is a small place. It's a big place and emerging place. So
Sir.
you have all the facilities to gear up.
Yes,
Sir, I can certify because I have undergone the experience for the last 2 hours. And
Okay.
I'll tell you, one of the best conferences I've attended, pin drop silence, and it was wonderful, beautifully conducted, superbly
So nice
conducted.
of you, sir.
So
nice.
compliments to you. I mean, it was
Thank you, sir.
beautifully
So nice
conducted.
of you. Pleasure is mine, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
it,
Thank you.
it actually gives a, even the speaker also, if you get disturbance, then you are disturbed. Your thoughts are disturbed.
Yes, sir.
There was pin drop silence. It was beautifully conducted. I really appreciate it. Thank
Thanks
you
to
very
our
much.
technical department, sir. Ravi
Of
Kishore, sir,
course.
and other persons are there and who are taking care of, who are entered into that without muting themselves. So we are muting them immediately so that disturbance will be a fraction of a second.
Correct.
So that is becoming, we are practicing, sir. Thank you very much. So nice of you, sir.
Great,
So,
great,
sir,
great,
Thank you very
great.
much.
So once again, pleasure meeting all of you. Thank you. Thank
Nice.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. See you, sir.
See you then, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.